Welcome back, boys. Mick here with another video, and we are going to be discussing Marathon. We've talked about Marathon a couple times on the channel, but coming up to its release coming quite soon for us all, including that server slam on Thursday. We're going to be talking about the new changes that they've released. Just going to be talking about their anti-cheat and other network information that they've come out with. Some really good stuff, some interesting stuff, and we're just going to get into all that in this video. If you do like the channel and you do like the videos, remember to like and subscribe. And if you are a fan of gaming discussions, topics, or anything Marathon, don't forget to stick around, because we'd love to have you on the channel. Other than all that nonsense though, let's get straight into it and take a look at these new changes coming to Marathon. Okay, this information is going to be coming from Marathon themselves, coming straight from Bungie. It's going to be surrounding their cheat policies, their anti-cheat systems, and sort of things they have in the network side of things. So far, from what I've seen and what I have read, it is very, very good looking for these guys. Somebody who comes from Call of Duty like myself, who has been a victim of mass cheating for years and years, this is the kind of information I like to see on a game before it actually releases. Now, while Marathon has been getting a lot of flack online, people are calling it the next Concord and another flop inbound. I don't really understand it. I don't think these opinions are founded in any way. The game looks good. You know, the developers have been listening to the community and they have been making improvements. And it is an extraction shooter, and extraction shooters always have a community no matter what, even the smaller ones. But on the topic of extraction shooters, we have to look at Arc Raiders, and I'm not directly comparing the two because I know Arc Raiders has a strong fan base, including myself, but we have to look at the cheating system and the anti-cheat system in Arc Raiders. A lot of issues online that people have with Arc Raiders is the 3-strike system with 30 and 60-day temporary bans respectively, and these are for small to medium infractions. And it says here that Arc Raiders does offer permanent bans when it comes to serious infractions of cheating. I don't know what a serious cheating infraction is, or a serious cheating, method. I don't really get it. Does that mean like blatant hacks, or does that mean like, booting people offline and stuff like that? I don't really understand it. Cheating is cheating in my opinion, and it is loser behavior. But regardless of all that though, Arc Raiders has been getting a lot of flack for its anti-cheat system and the way it's treating cheaters, and I do believe people have noticed more cheaters as time has went on with the game's release. Now Marathon may be looking at this and trying to take out some players from Arc Raiders by saying, look, this is how we deal with cheaters, but we don't know yet. We'll get into all that here, but let's take a look at what Marathon are doing differently. Okay, so we're just going to go down the list then. First bullet point from these guys is Marathon dedicated servers are fully authoritative on key combat and looting actions, providing a layer of protection against cheating. This is always on servers from Bungie's side then, and they're going to get the final say in any client-side actions, like picking up ammo or shooting enemies. Anything that happens, it's going to have the final say on their side. This is going to prevent people from getting like infinite ammo or shooting through walls or any manipulations of the client itself. Bungie are going to get the final say on their side, and this is quite a common thing you'll see in anti-cheat systems, but it is good to see that it's there, it's dedicated, and we're going to have it. Next is new networking systems allow your movement and actions to feel responsive, while the server carefully tracks each bullet to its target, even when high packet loss is happening. I mentioned Call of Duty a lot, but Black Ops 7, when it had its rocky release, right up until I last played it, high packet loss was always an issue, even when you had perfect connection. Now Bungie here don't go into a lot of detail on how they plan on mitigating this problem, but it would be good to see packet loss be minimal, if not gone completely. I don't know how they're planning on doing this, if they are able to do it, but this is good news if it's true, and I hope there is some sort of, plan in place to prevent packet loss from interfering with games. For a game like extraction shooters, where everything is on the line, every combat encounter, you want perfect connection, perfect FPS, you want every possible chance of winning that encounter, so I do hope this is true from their side. Okay, next up from Bungie, Fog of War limits the regions of a map that individual player clients have knowledge of, limiting the effectiveness of wall hacks, ESP cheats, and loot revealers. Now this is really smart programming and a really good feature from Bungie. So basically what this means is, as you are a player in the area that you're running around in, there is this larger outer area that surrounds you that the game will not program in, it will not process in. So if you do have anything like wall hacks or loot revealers, you're not able to see past that distance because the game isn't loading it for the player. Now this is a massive interaction or a massive process in terms of client-side features, so I'm not too sure on the computing or the programming, so I don't know what problems may arise from this, but I wouldn't be too surprised if there was some issues that come from this feature, but I'm sure they have ironed it out and looked at everything when it comes to testing and QAs. You know what it comes down to? These guys have delayed their launch and have had plenty of time to test these features and work around any issues that come from it. So if this does work perfectly, this is a huge feature. You know, wall hacks and stuff like that have been a massive issue in video games throughout time, especially, you know, competitive shooters like Marathon. So if this is ironed out and this does work and this fog of war feature is always surrounding the players, this is going to completely ruin anybody's chances of using wall hacks effectively at these longer ranges. Next up, we've rebuilt our game security stack from the ground up for Marathon, in addition to our extra layer of security provided by BattleEye. Now, BattleEye is probably something that we're all familiar with. I mean, everybody here probably has it on their computers. If you do use PC gaming, we've all seen BattleEye before, and it's completely up to you whether you like it or not. You know, I've used BattleEye in the past, I've had it on games that I've played, and I've still encountered cheaters no matter what. You know, the anti-cheat itself does help in preventing cheaters, and it definitely does work at times, but there are ways around it, and these cheat providers will do everything they can to circumvent these anti-cheat systems. Now, Bungie have also said they have their own internal security stack built in with the game, so that's going to pair up with BattleEye quite nicely. But in my personal opinion, it's the other features that really do make this anti-cheat news shine. Like, this BattleEye stuff isn't going to be, you know, the make or break when it comes to preventing cheaters in the game. This one that I absolutely love is if you lose connection mid-run, you can reconnect to the run and continue on. It's like I said earlier, when you're playing extraction shooters, everything is on the line, including the stuff that you had initially brought into that raid. If you do manage to find yourself having connection troubles during the raid and you do disconnect, the last thing that you want is to lose all that stuff that you found in raid, and also of course what you've initially brought into that raid at the beginning. This is an amazing feature. I mean, other extraction shooters have had this in the past. I think Tarkov does, but it's really long to get back into the game. And then I think Delta Force also had a system like this, but you know, this is great to see. I'm glad they have it. You know, it isn't exactly innovative or original, but with a game like this is definitely something that is needed, and I'm glad it's there. Next is if a connection recovery fails due to an issue with Bungie's server or network infrastructure, we will attempt to return the starting gear to the player. Now, this might be an issue. Now, it does say if it's on Bungie's side or their network infrastructure, then they will try and return that gear. But I hope this isn't an exploit that's found early on where you could just pull out your Ethernet cable if you're about to lose all your stuff, and then you can get all the stuff that you started with. You know, that would be a pretty, you know, boring exploit if it was there on launch. You know, that's something I would be interested in seeing if that does work at launch. Not really to exploit it, but just to see if the problem is there early on. Like I said, it does say if it's Bungie's side or if it's their network infrastructure, so hopefully there's a system in place in order to identify that specifically, you know, instead of people just manipulating their own connections on their side. Okay, now the big one here, guys, is what we talked about at the start when comparing it to Arc Raiders, but this is Marathon saying if you are caught cheating, you are permanently banned forever, no second chances. Now, this is also not a free-to-play game, so if you are caught cheating, you're down £40 or $50 or whatever the game costs. I think it's a little cheaper than that actually if it's the standard edition. But regardless of that, you do lose that account, you lose that money that you've spent on the game, and you are permanently banned from the service forever. Now, they don't mention anything hardware related, but basically all the stuff that we talked about before that they have in place to prevent cheaters, all that stuff is going to be really useful in finding them, and then when they do get caught, they are toast. There's no coming back. Permanent ban forever on that account, and whatever money they spent on the game, they do forfeit that because they went against the terms and conditions of the game by cheating and circumventing the system's engine. This is brilliant. I mean, we need to see this across the board with all games, and the reason I mentioned Arc Raiders at the start is because they have a completely different system in order of dealing with their cheaters. I don't know if it's retain player count or maybe keep everybody happy. I don't really understand why they have that 3-strike system with the 30 and 60-day temporary bans respectively, but you know, each to their own. That is their system. I'm sure they have a reason for that, but Marathon, that's the point of the video. That's the, you know, the focus that we have here. They're saying permanent ban, no second chances, no matter what you're caught with if you are cheating. You know, like I said before, I'm really happy with this. This is an amazing feature, and I'm glad they're taking a stance like this early on. That's all we have in terms of the main bullet points for this post from Marathon, but they also finish off by saying they're going to maintain and update this entire system throughout the game's life cycle. This is amazing from these guys, and I'm glad they're taking this stance and giving us information on this early on. I think they do recognize that cheating in competitive video games is a massive issue now, and with the rise of AI and all these new things coming out, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but cheating is getting really bad. I mean, there's a lot of AI cheats that are being developed, and not to mention the stuff that's going to come out in the future. So seeing game developers talk about their anti-cheat and their, you know, competitiveness early on prior to the game's release is good to see. You know, like I kind of touched on, Marathon is getting a lot of hate before its release. People are calling it a flop and a Concord 3 and all kind of stuff online. I don't really understand why this hate is there. I mean, yes, they had a rocky start and a poor alpha, but they have been making changes and the game is looking really good and really fun. I mean, Bungie responsible for Halo and Destiny, you know, two of the most played franchises of all time, and you know, we have to give them some level of trust here when it comes to making video games. As a massive Halo fan growing up, especially Halo 3, I am a massive Bungie fanboy, so you can call me a shill, but I do enjoy Bungie games. But you know, to be fair, we're going to have to just wait and see, and fortunately we do have a free chance to try the game on the 26th, which is this Thursday. There is going to be an open beta that's going to run until the 2nd of March. You know, that's going to give us a chance to feel like the missions, the competitiveness, the loot, the weapons, you know, PvP fights. We're going to get a real good insight into the game and see if it's worth spending our money on when it does come to release. So with all the unfounded hate, in my opinion, that is surrounding this game, there is a chance for everybody to find out if that stuff is true come Thursday. Okay, that's going to be it for the video, guys. I appreciate you for watching. We have covered all the main bullet points when it comes to anti-cheat systems and competitiveness in the game. This is one of the most important points for me personally when it comes to a video game. I like everything being fair. I like everything being skill-based. I do not like cheaters. I do not like people having advantages over me. And extraction shooters are one of the worst things to die in. I mean, you know, you have Call of Duty and Domination or whatever, you respawn, you get the cheater, you try harder. And an extraction shooter, they cheat on you, take everything you have, and you just feel really low. So this is one of the more important games to have such a good system in place. Like I said at the start, if you do enjoy these types of videos, think about sticking around. I do appreciate you guys for watching. If you have made it all the way to the end of the video, that's going to be it for me though, boys. But as always, I will see you in the next one.